Hi, I'm Cody Darkstalker, and today I'm going to be doing another Booktube Tag because I really like these things. I like being able to rant about books I like reading, go figure. So, question number 1. Your all-time favorite book. I have right here, The Essential of Border Town. It is edited by Terry Winling and Delia Sherman, both awesome people. This book is Beat to Hell because I have read it a lot. But it contains really good stuff, including like a restaurant guide to a magical city that maybe doesn't exist. And I think that's why I like it. It's just really, really unique. Like, there's a restaurant guide, there's how to get there, there's how to find a place to live, interspersed with like a bunch of other types of short stories. So, yeah, The Essential Border Town. I always have this like with me. Like, it's always around in my space because you never know when I might need it. Like, hey, wait a minute. What was the name of that fictional taco place? I need to know that right now. It's important. These are the priorities I have in my life. Number 2, a modern classic. So I went with what I think should be a modern classic children's book because I don't really know what a modern classic would be that I have. So I went with Julie's Wolfpack. This should be a classic. It really should be. Like, it's a story about a little girl. She befriends a bunch of wolves, and they become friends. There's a picture on the back of this lady with a wolf. It's inspiring. I really like survival stories. I like wolves. I like Alaska. This was a lot of things I liked wrapped up in one. So, whatever. It's a classic to me. A non-fiction book, number 3, and that would be Parasite Rex. Look at it. Look at this thing. It's coming for you. It's coming for you. Dun 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 dun. Yeah, it's amazing. I love parasites, and I know that's like a weird thing to say because people aren't generally into parasites because like they're gross. They're like weird little bugs that live inside your body, but I think that's the best part about them. You could be filled with parasites right now and not even know it. And how trippy is that? My favorite parasite is the Toxoplasma gondii parasite, and you get it from cats. So if you ever owned a cat, you might have this parasite in your brain and be asymptomatic. Yay! See, this is why I don't have more friends, because I tell them they might have parasites. Number 4, a classic, Lord of the Flies. Where did I put it? I have it. It's tinier than the other book, so it's harder to find. I really like this cover. It's super gross, this bug. And it's like, oh, look, it's Piggy. Poor Piggy. No spoilers, but things don't go well for him. I love Lord of the Flies. It has shaped my entire life. Somebody let me read this when I was 10. I think one of my grandmothers found this and read the back and was like, oh, it's a story about English schoolboys on an island surviving without any adults. It'll be like the Swiss Family Robinson or something, or I don't know, but it's not. It's not at all. So when people ask, like, why aren't you ever going to have kids? I just pull this out and I'm like, because this is what children do. Murder each other and sacrifice animals to their dark gods. Super into Lord of the Flies. Probably too into it. There's a lot to be said for not being as into the Lord of the Flies as I am. Number 5, a graphic novel. I guess this is a graphic novel. You could also just call it a trade, whichever. But Kingdom Come. I love Superman. Superman is my favorite superhero. And people who say that Superman cannot be written well and Superman is boring are just not reading good Superman fiction. Superman is a very complex and interesting character, and he is deeply flawed, and he has struggles in his life, mostly dealing with, like, the struggle of having his own awesome power and being surrounded by people with other godlike powers. So, yeah, Kingdom Come. It's not the happy-go-lucky, like, big blue Boy Scout Superman that a lot of people know and love, but I think that's what makes it great. Number 6. A book by an author you could not live without. So I went for this. American Gods by Neil Gaiman. This is also the double edition because it's the fancy one from Barnes & Nobles. I don't like that store, but I really like their fancy bound editions. Mostly because they're cheap and I never have enough money for hardcovers. I just like that sound. Some good sound. That sweet, sweet hardcover. So yeah, I really like Neil Gaiman. I like him because he does a little bit of everything that I like. He does anthologies, he does graphic novels, he does long novels, he is great at world building, and also, American Gods is gonna be a TV show. What? TV show? That's crazy, but it is. It's gonna be amazing. Hopefully the casting is good. I don't know, I'm not in charge. So, number 7, a series. I went with Harry Potter. Yeah, mine don't have, like, the little paper wrap parts, because I always ended up destroying them, and like The Essential Border Town, this book is kind of beat to hell, because I read my books a lot. I used to reread books a lot more, so they got a lot more wear and tear than they do now. Number 8, a book you feel no house or home is complete without. I'm going to say a cookbook is good for everybody. People who say they can't cook generally just need better cookbooks. But since I'm vegan, I'm going to go with the one thing that I think no vegan household should be without. And that's this baby. Partially just because of the name. The Veganomicon. Like, the Veganomicon, really. When I saw it, I was like, well, I need to own this just because the name is ridiculous. But it's also really handy. It's got everything from, like, spicy tempeh nori rolls to tropical avocado salsa fresca. Whatever that means. Food. It's full of ways to make food. These are words that you can use to make food into better food. So, pretty handy, I'd say. I cook a lot. Like, a lot. And I have a pretty big cookbook collection that's ever growing, which, sadly, I don't use half as often as I should, because I tend to just make up recipes. Like, well, the recipe says that I should use a quarter cup of this, but I'm going to use half a cup of this and half a cup of that, and also I'm making something totally different now, but whatever. It's fine. I'm an intuitive cook. That's what I like to say. I don't need those book smarts for my cooking. Huh. Yeah. Number 9, a book with a pretty cover you could not live without. So, I went for just the earliest one that I owned, and that is the year's best fantasy and horror. I think this is the 4th annual collection. So, look at this art. It's so shiny, so it's not picking up very well, but it's beautiful. It's edited by Ellen Datlow and Terry Winling. Awesome people. Again, do you notice a theme? So, this is one of the big things in my life. I picked up a year's best fantasy and horror, and then spent the next, 3 months just looking up every author that was mentioned, and these books they're more than just an anthology. They're a guide. So they had things like a summation of horror novels and movies and TV shows that came out for that year. So this is 1990. It's actually the year before I was born. And they had it for fantasy, and they did everything. There was just, so many books and movie and even music recommendations that you could get out of one of these, and made it a really, really good buy. And even now, buying them so far after they came out, they're still great, because a good book in 1990 is probably still a good book in 2015. And the same can go for a lot of the movies, music, and TV shows. Just good stuff. I just started picking up everything that anyone involved with these series ever came into contact with, and it's been a really good way to find new stuff to read. Okay, number 10. A book on your TBR or wishlist you have yet to read. Okay, so this is really embarrassing, but I haven't read any Discworld, but look, Small Gods. I just got it. It is there now. I have it. I'm gonna read it. It's at the very top of my list, and I'm gonna start today. I'm gonna finally jump in. I'm gonna read all of the Discworld books. It's gonna take me probably the rest of my life. No, not really. I'm a pretty quick reader, but it's daunting. I think that my biggest problem with getting started reading Discworld has just been not knowing where to start. There are several graphs online talking about, the optimal way to read Discworld, and none of them made any sense to me. They're color-coded. There's branching and weaving and ducking and dodging and figure eights, and it lost me. It really, really did. I was sort of embarrassed. I'm like, I just wanted them in number order, but apparently it's not that simple. I guess it'll make more sense once I start reading them. Number 11, bonus category, a YA book. Tithe. I just held it up and I forgot that, as usual, I don't have the dust jacket. Tithe by Holly Black. I really, really enjoy this book. I like urban fantasy, and Holly Black, this is one of her, first books in that genre, and she's really, really well known in the genre now, and she's gotten a lot more popular. But this is one of the earliest urban fantasy books that I read, and it's fun. I love the idea of, like, a magical fairy night hanging out with some, like, suburban kids at a Jersey diner eating disco fries. And that is a thing that happens in this series. This is the first one in the series. Again, I'm holding it wrong because I don't have spatial awareness. So it's Tithe, Valiant, and then Ironside, and I think that's it for the series. It's just a trilogy, but they're really good. They're not that long. I really encourage people to pick them up and check out Holly Black's other work. I especially love Holly Black because when I was really little, I wrote her fan mail, and she wrote back. I mean, it might have been a form letter, but she signed it, and it was super exciting to, like, 11-year-old me that an author bothered to, like, write back to my pathetic little fan mail of, I love you, write more books. And they just said, thanks, I love you too, I'm gonna write more books. And then we were all happy. So yeah, that's been the minimalist. I can't, you know what it is? The thing, it catches sometimes. You don't know what it's like. The struggles I deal with every day. But this has been the Minimalist Book Tag. There we go. Look, I can enunciate and pronunciate. Also, that book just fell over, but that's fine. It's off camera. You don't need to know about it. I'm Cody Darkstalker. This has been the latest Booktube tag. Please leave more comments of tags I should do in the thing. Also, more book recommendations. I need book recommendations all day, every day. Book recommendations, because I'm probably going to need to take a break from Pratchett eventually. There's like 30 books. Yeah. Daunting, like I said. So, I'm Cody Darkstalker. So long, farewell, auf Wiedersehen, good night, goodbye. Spay and neuter your pets.